All right, let me do like a proper intro. And welcome to the extended mailbag here at Puckle. We've got a few emails this week. We've got extras. This is the part of the. It's not even it's not part of the show. This is its own thing. It's its own video where we read emails that didn't get to be read on the show because we limit how many we read on the show nowadays. And I know a lot of people send in a lot of good emails, and we just post them on the Discord. And we kind of say good, like good enough's the wrong word, but we just say, hey, let's just throw them on the Discord to do something so people can read them. And I wanted to do more, and I think the extended mailbag is a great great way to do it. Unfortunately, we're not going to read all the way back from like the beginning of the year like I had intended, but we are going to read whatever was sent in this week. And there's one from the week prior to that from Fell because it got sent to spam, and I would have read it on the show. I would have chosen it as one of the three to read on the show had I gotten it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the one from Phil, and we're going to go ahead and just get into it. So he says, hi folks, Phil Maloney here, your Spanish Puckle listener based out of London. Hope you're doing great and staying safe. All of the talk on the topic about rumors brought back huge nostalgia from that extremely exciting time between Gens 1 and 2. Just knowing there was more than 151 Pokemon was mind-blowing for an 11-year-old fan. Naturally, the known existence via the anime of Togepi in '98 sparked a plethora of rumors in my school playground ahead of the Gold Silver release on how to get the egg Pokemon into your Red and Blue game.
I remember this.
Wait, was it really there? By the way, Sigma's here. I forgot to introduce
Hi.
him because this isn't the normal show.
I remember some rumor about like using an Everstone on something to get Togepi or something like that.
Well, no, so Everstones didn't exist
I
in Red
know.
and
That's
Blue.
what made it so interesting.
That's even more interesting. So I don't know who showed up. We're gonna
It's me.
we're gonna bounce for a second, and we'll be back in like 10 minutes. I promise.
Never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
We're finishing the mailbag. I apologize then. Uh, all right. So, but this conversation brings me back to those years when we got our first home computer, and I would sit there with my brother looking at the confirmed new Pokemon on those pre-Bulbapedia pages and forums you mentioned on the podcast. The sprites loaded ever so slowly from the top to the bottom. You're so right, though. Remember dial-up internet and how bad that was?
Mhm.
One by one. Oh, thanks for the follow. One by one. I want to wait for the music to end. One by one, we blissfully spoiled the surprise of every Johto Pokemon. Our minds were blown by the concept of Pokemon babies that evolved into well-known Pokemon, and of course, new Dark and Steel types. Onyx evolves and Scyther, new evolutions. Whoa. I would say that baby Pokemon only worked in Gen 2. Any other baby Pokemon was pointless. Every other baby Pokemon's dumb.
Yes.
Hashtag hot take.
Yes.
That's a hot take. That's my hot take. Every other baby Pokemon is dumb. All right. Like Azuril's dumb. Buttoo's dumb. Munchlax is dumb.
Okay. I like Badoo. I like Badoo.
Chingling's
Design
dumb.
wise.
Chingling's dumb.
Chingling is dumb.
Chingling didn't need to exist. Toxel. Okay, but Toxel's not okay. Toxel's a baby Pokemon in like name because of the way it reacts.
Just like Riolu too. Riolu's.
Yeah, Riolu's technically in the same category, but I would argue neither of those will really count because they stand alone they stand on their own.
They don't use incense either.
Yep, anything that uses incense is absolutely awful. Is absolutely awful.
Happini. Oh God.
Happy, oh God. Yeah, that's exactly right. But one fact that was somewhere lost and encrypted among my childhood memories, and I have now come to piece together, was the fact that I somehow managed to get my 11-year-old hands on a Japanese ROM of Gold or Silver. Don't ask me how. I don't know if any of you came across this ROM yourself. I did not. I did not. I did not come across that. I didn't understand a word of Japanese, so I just got as far as my time would let me. But because I'm not sure I even knew how to save my game. The latest episode of the podcast kind of gave me a sort of deja vu that has triggered my memory and brought back a ton of nostalgia from that naive feeling of having insider information as a kid. And that's why I listened to the Puckle podcast.
I remember having a magazine with like a brown Charizard on the front.
Dude, I remember, there were so many of those magazines. So, like, if you ever bought like an Action Replay or a Game Shark, they always put like really poopy drawings of Pokemon so they wouldn't get sued
Like
for
the little
copyright.
gecko and the dolphin, like
Yeah,
Baby
yeah.
Tiger and Groudon. I
So
remember those.
so
I remember
they
those.
wouldn't getting sued for like using Pokemon images.
I remember those.
That is like the kind of stuff you would see on these magazine covers all of the time. 100%. And I drastically I remember these very much so. Um, okay, so let's keep going. I'm sure a lot of your listeners today got into Pokemon when it was already evolving in a growing franchise. That is depressingly true. But I'm sure many of you remember what Gen 2 meant in terms of expanding on a universe that felt pretty grounded, static, and finite. It opened a world of possibilities. Thanks for the reading. Have yourselves a super week, Phil Maloney. Yee. All right. So our next one's going to be from, I believe, Domobot.
Hey, Puckle Crew. I heard you all talking about Pokemon Inconsistencies. And one that sticks out in my mind is one of Executor. So the multiple Pokedex entries it has usually talks about how if and when one of its heads falls off, it searches for others that have fallen off to form a new Execute. So this got my brain going. Does this mean the Executor are essentially immortal? And
Yes.
I cat. I mean, they are dragons, so maybe.
Alolan Executor are not regular ones.
This is true. Yeah, because
but they're also like trees.
It's like reincarnation, though, isn't it?
I don't know. It depends, dude. The heads maintain the same consciousness.
I mean, they take like what, 7 eggs and become 3 heads. So
yeah, I just don't know if like if the coconut head falls off, does and like a new one grows. I mean, these are the questions, right? Does it maintain the same consciousness? Like, do all 3, are they a collective consciousness and not like 3 heads like a Dodrio, you know? Dodrio's heads like fight amongst themselves.
Yeah.
But do Executor heads all go like, we are one, we are the hive mind?
I don't know. Or are they like a combination of a couple of the little eggs of the Execute?
Yeah, I don't know.
So weird.
I can't. Yeah.
One of them gets the like mashed egg.
Are the Execute all one consciousness? I don't know the answer.
I mean, they are psychic, so that might be their link.
Maybe that's why they're psychic, because like they're telepathically
all linked together. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. We solved it. We solved the issue.
Endlessly going through a cycle of decomposing and re-evolving.
I wouldn't call it re-evolving, but yeah. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
I mean, they do re-evolve and then they drop off their egg again, and
that's true.
Meet. And what's more weird to think about is that when all of the heads fall off an Executor, it's just a palm tree. Will the legs just get stuck in place and it becomes an actual tree? Is this why there are so many trees in the Pokemon regions, lining every route? These are dumb
because they're not all palm trees. They're not all palm trees. Are they all Trevenant? No.
No, do they become Trevenant? That's the question.
No, because Trevenant are palm trees.
Let's see, where were we?
Dumb question.
Is this the reason there are so many trees in the Pokemon regions lining every route? These are the dumb questions that keep me up at night. Thanks, Pokemon. Anyway, as always, love the show and keep doing what you all do so well. Domobot.
All right. And we got one more this week that I wanted to read. And it is from Pokemaster. Hello, Thatch and marvelous co-host. Pokemaster here. Listening to this week's episode was really interesting, and I would love to put my thought down. The topic that Whimsicott brought to the table is very interesting. Why do people have certain types that they train? My headcanon that I have for that was that, like fish or some dogs, they don't mix. You can't put a goldfish in a tank with a bunch of clownfish, as the temperature would be wrong for them. Or they'll get aggressive and agitated. I think it's the same for Pokemon. They can't mix. They'll get territorial and aggressive, And the reason that the player and some champions have mixed teams is because they put themselves through the effort to train their team so they would be comfortable around each other. That's pretty close to what I think I said, but I agree with that. I think it's just certain Pokemon require such living conditions, and it's hard to do multiple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I really like Thatch's ideas about TMs. You're right. They get little training TVDs by Richard Simmons. Now I'll go over my logic. Why can't I push past a knee-high branch? Let me explain. The cut trees are so small that anyone could just push past it. Is there a force field over it? This really annoyed me. The second is that, why does the player have no knees? Why can't I jump up on a small ledge? Also, why does Milo have no nose? That has been my 2 cents. Thanks for reading, and I'm sorry if it was too long. Pokemaster, signing out.
I hate Milo's lack of nose so much.
It's very bothersome.
He is the worst design of the gym leaders this gen.
It's very bad. All right. Well, that's all the emails this week. This was a rather short one, but it's up there. It's in the books. You guys can all be like, yes, we have emails. We have read them. We did it. The video's there, and it'll be back there next week. So thank you to you guys for taking a listen, and we will catch you on the flip-flop.